recognize Ranking Member Huffman for his opening statement.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And with all due respect to Chair Westerman, the Endangered Species Act is not broken, it's just inconvenient for certain industry polluters. Any other bill in America that had a 99% success rate, as this legislation does, at keeping the listed species from going extinct would be held up as a model of success. And to the extent that it has failed in recovering species, which we all want to see, it is because our Republican friends are endlessly at war with the budgets of the wildlife agencies that are tasked with doing that important recovery work, with protecting these species, with doing the science, with doing the habitat restoration. So it is deeply disingenuous to the point of gaslighting to suggest that anything about this legislation before us, which absolutely weakens the Endangered Species Act, that anything about this is about making the law work better or bringing it back to its original intent. The original intent was to save species from extinction. This bill is part of an extinction agenda, which means that we are back in this subcommittee once again experiencing deja vu, because there's nothing new about this. We have seen this extinction agenda for the past few years over and over again. The other deja vu feeling today is because there is crazy, destructive, incompetent, corrupt things happening in the executive branch of our government right now. And the independent branch of government, the Article I branch that our founders created in order to serve as a check on abuses of presidential power, as a check on corruption and incompetence, is totally missing in action. Because this Republican majority thinks that it works for President Trump, as opposed to being an independent branch of government that serves as a check on power. And so we see endless attempts to curry favor, to kiss up. And of course, the quintessence of that is the bill before us today to rename the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America, something that was actually floated as a joke by comedian Stephen Colbert back in 2010. But now, apparently, the joke is on us. Look, we should be talking about the mass firings of federal employees, facility closures, chaotic government takeovers by Elon Musk and his Doge tech bros, things that are leaving agencies unable to deliver essential services, from essential public safety to mitigating wildfire risk to protecting our irreplaceable natural resources. The majority is holding the third hearing in 3 months, focused on weakening the Endangered Species Act. This does nothing to solve the countless problems our constituents are struggling with. In fact, it does the opposite, because the ESA isn't just about wildlife. It helps protect clean air, clean water, and the natural systems that sustain all of us. Now, let's not kid ourselves about this bill. It is the culmination, it is not the culmination of a honest working group or a thoughtful bipartisan discussion. I noticed that not a single one of my suggestions from that working group was included in this bill. This is simply a rehash of pro-extinction talking points from industry polluters and dressed up like it's something new. It makes the ESA weaker. It makes it harder to do all the things that actually protect species from extinction, and easier to do all of the things that leave them unprotected. Now, our colleagues on the other side of the aisle say they want to speed up permitting timelines. Well, guess what? The Fish and Wildlife Service has lost approximately 50% of its information and planning and consultation team. These are the key personnel, the biologists, the recovery teams, the project managers who consult with federal agencies and applicants early in the planning process to help avoid delays while protecting endangered species. This is the office that speeds things up, and it is being gutted. Over 400 Fish and Wildlife Service employees have been fired nationwide. This includes staff at National Wildlife Refuges, and we hear more cuts are coming. These cuts are causing chaos across the agency, disrupting recovery efforts, delaying critical actions to protect endangered species. If we're serious about the ESA, we should at least be talking about that stuff instead of recycling these tired old bills. Now, back to the Gulf of America. Stephen Colbert proposed this as a joke in 2010, and it's important to remember what was going on at the time, what led to the joke. There was a blown BP oil well that gushed oil for many, many weeks and months, killed 11 people, crushed the coastal economy of the Gulf, and Colbert used the name change as a gimmick to raise awareness of the disaster that dragged on for 5 months, something our Republican friends seem to have forgotten about as they advance their dirty drilling agenda. It is weirdly appropriate that they are taking what started out as a joke and actually moving it forward as part of their drill baby drill agenda, and unfortunately that means the joke is on us. I yield back.